There comes a moment in everyone's life when control no longer works. You've tried organizing everything. You've planned, pushed, and forced, hoping that if you just try hard enough, things will finally fall into place. But instead, you end up exhausted, anxious, frustrated, and still waiting. Louise Hay gently reminded us that when we hold on too tightly, we block the very miracles we're longing for. Letting go is not giving up. It's opening a door. It's stepping aside so that the intelligence of the universe can guide us. Most people don't realize that the very act of forcing life is what keeps them stuck. They say, "I've done everything, but nothing changes." That's because the energy behind those actions is fear, not trust, and fear creates resistance. Louise often said that life is very simple. What we give out, we get back. If we send out fear and control, we receive more reasons to be afraid and to tighten our grip. But when we shift into a space of trust, of openness, life begins to flow in ways we never imagined. Imagine a river. When you try to swim against it, it's exhausting. But when you allow yourself to float, the current takes you somewhere new. Letting go doesn't mean losing direction. It means aligning with the deeper wisdom already at work. That wisdom is always available. But we must stop the noise of our fear to hear it clearly. Many women spend years believing they need to do everything, fix everything, carry everyone. And silently, they fall apart inside. They believe that surrender is weakness, when in fact, it is their greatest strength. Surrender says, "I no longer need to do this all alone. I am supported by something greater than myself." The universe is not chaotic, it is intelligent. It responds to what we believe and what we allow. Louise's affirmations were more than just positive words. They were acts of surrender. Saying, "I trust the process of life," is a powerful declaration that opens doors we didn't even know existed. It's not magic, it's alignment, and alignment brings peace. Letting go is also a decision to stop fighting with yourself. It's choosing peace over panic. It's waking up in the morning and saying, "I don't know how this will work out, but I trust that it will." This kind of trust transforms everything. Now ask yourself this: what are you still trying to force? What outcome are you gripping so tightly that you've closed yourself off to other possibilities? What would happen if you simply let go, just for a day? How would it feel to believe, even for a moment, that you are safe without control? And you, have you ever tried letting go of something and been surprised at how life responded? If something in this touched your heart, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Your story could help another woman take her first step toward peace. Most people think surrender means losing something, but the truth is, surrender is how you begin to receive. What you lose is the illusion that you were ever supposed to do this alone. You stop carrying what was never yours to carry. You stop trying to control people, outcomes, timing, and life itself. And in that release, something extraordinary happens. The universe begins to respond. Louise Hay always reminded us that life doesn't need to be a struggle. But many of us were taught the opposite. We were told we must fight for love, prove our worth, earn happiness. So we tighten our grip on everything we value, terrified that if we stop trying so hard, everything will fall apart. But it's that very fear that creates the tension, the anxiety, the emotional exhaustion that so many women silently live with every single day. The universe is not testing you, it is reflecting you. What you believe, you see, what you expect, you experience. If deep down you expect to be let down, life will show you reasons to feel betrayed. But if you begin to trust, if you start whispering to yourself that everything is working out even when you can't see it yet, life will start to soften, possibilities will appear, and peace will find its way back into your heart. Louise taught that every thought is an affirmation. We are always affirming something, whether we mean to or not. So when you think, I need to fix this. I need to force this. I can't relax until this changes. You are affirming resistance. You are telling the universe, I do not trust you. And the universe listens, not to your words, but to your energy. That's why letting go is such a powerful spiritual act. It shifts your vibration from fear to faith. Imagine walking through a dark forest with a flashlight. You only see a few feet ahead of you, but step by step, more of the path is revealed. Life is like that. You don't need to see the whole picture. You only need to trust the next right step. The rest will unfold as it always does when you're aligned. Women often say, I just want to feel at peace again. But peace doesn't come from fixing everything outside of you. It comes from softening the inside. It comes from allowing life to support you instead of trying to control everything on your own. It's about deciding that ease is just as valid as effort. Maybe today, instead of fighting to make something happen, you allow space. Maybe you pause, breathe, and say, I let go. I trust life. And then you let the day unfold, without pressure, without fear, just presence. You don't have to figure everything out. You don't need to have all the answers. You are being guided. You are being supported. The intelligence that created you knows exactly what you need, and it is already working in your favor. Letting go often feels unnatural, especially for those who have spent a lifetime relying on control to feel safe. But control is an illusion. Life has always been moving according to its own rhythm. The moment you try to force it, you disconnect from that natural flow. Louise Hay often reminded us that nothing in life is personal. Everything is energy. And when we take things personally, we get trapped in stories that make us feel small and helpless. So many women carry silent guilt. Guilt for not doing enough. Guilt for resting. Guilt for making a mistake or needing help. But guilt is just fear, wearing a different mask. It keeps you stuck in a loop where no matter what you do, it never feels like it's enough. The truth is, you are already enough. You don't need to earn love, approval, or your place in the world. You were born worthy, and nothing can change that. Louise taught that healing begins the moment you stop blaming yourself. That includes blaming yourself for being tired, lost, confused, or overwhelmed. You are human, and life is complex. But your inner wisdom is always present. It's just often drowned out by the noise of fear, guilt, and self-judgment. The moment you quiet those voices, even a little, the truth begins to rise. And the truth is, you are safe to trust. And that inner safety creates space for healing and connection. Think about how often you've tried to control things out of fear. Trying to control someone's opinion of you. Trying to control how fast something should happen. Trying to hold on to a relationship that's no longer aligned. It's exhausting, isn't it? And yet, you've survived every single time life didn't go according to your plan. What if those detours were not mistakes, but redirections toward something better than what you imagined? Letting go is not about giving up your power. It's about reclaiming it. Because when you stop trying to control what you cannot change, you free up energy to focus on what you can. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your presence. And that's where true power lives. It's the power that says, I choose peace over panic. I choose trust over tension. You don't need to hold it all together to be strong. Real strength is found in stillness. One of Louise's most powerful messages was this: you are the thinker of your thoughts. You can choose a new thought. You can release a belief that no longer serves you. And when you do, the entire world shifts in response. Not instantly, not always loudly, but deeply and in perfect timing. Letting go starts with the smallest decisions, not reacting. When you're triggered, not over-explaining yourself to be understood, not saying yes when your heart says no. These moments, though small, are acts of trust. They say, I no longer abandon myself for the illusion of control. I choose to live differently now, and that changes everything. There's a quiet kind of strength that comes from letting go. Not a dramatic release, not a breakdown, but a soft, steady decision to stop holding on so tightly, to stop chasing, to stop fixing. Louise Hay often spoke of how our thoughts create our reality, but what she really taught was that our energy leads our life. And when we hold the energy of tension and fear, even our best intentions struggle to grow. You may not realize how much you're holding. The constant pressure to have the answers, to keep everyone happy, to be seen as strong. That pressure is heavy, and over time, it becomes your normal. But just because you've carried something for years doesn't mean you're meant to carry it forever. You're allowed to set it down. You're allowed to rest. And more importantly, you're allowed to trust that life can meet you where you are. The universe doesn't need you to be perfect to support you. It only asks that you become willing to release the belief that you're alone, willing to believe that peace doesn't come from control, but from connection, from remembering who you are beyond the stories you've been told. You are not your struggle. You are not your past. You are the awareness that can choose again. Louise often invited people to place their hands over their hearts and speak words of kindness to themselves. That simple gesture shifts everything. It creates space. It breaks the cycle of mental noise. And in that moment, you return to yourself. You come home. That's the energy where healing begins. Maybe today is the day you begin to treat yourself differently, not as a problem to solve, but as a person to care for. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly allowed yourself to just be? Without fixing, without guilt, without explanation. And if this question opens something in you, maybe write about it or even share it in the comments. Sometimes, a single reflection shared can echo through someone else's life and open a door they didn't know existed. Letting go is not passive. It's one of the most courageous acts you can choose. It says, I'm willing to trust that there's more for me than what I'm trying to force. It says, I am not giving up, I'm opening up. That mindset shift changes everything. And when you practice this again and again, even in the smallest moments, life begins to feel different. Not because everything outside changes, but because you're no longer stuck in the loop of fear. You're creating space for something new, something softer, something real. Louise believed that when we love ourselves, everything in life works. And self-love begins in the moment you decide that your peace is worth protecting, that your presence matters, and that the universe, in all its wisdom, is already responding to your shift. Let go, trust, and allow. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring in a new way, a way that honors your energy, respects your boundaries, and trusts that you are being supported even when things don't go as planned. Louise Hay taught that when we choose peace in our hearts, we become magnets for harmony in our lives. But that peace can't grow in soil filled with resistance. It needs space. And that space is created when we release the need to control every outcome. You've probably spent years believing that effort equals worth, that if you're not trying harder, you're falling behind. But what if effort isn't the answer? What if alignment is? What if the real path forward is less about pushing and more about allowing? That doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what feels right from a calm place instead of reacting from fear. Many women wake up each morning already overwhelmed. The list of things to do, the expectations, the worries, and underneath it all, a quiet voice whispering, I can't keep doing this. But they keep going because they believe that stopping means failing. Louise would gently remind you that rest is not failure. Slowing down is not weakness. It's often in those moments of stillness that clarity arrives. The universe is always speaking to you, but it speaks softly, through intuition, through synchronicities, through the deep feeling that says, this is right or this isn't for me. When you're always in a rush, you miss those signs. But when you slow down, when you let go of needing to know everything, you begin to hear what life has been trying to tell you all along. Louise often encouraged people to speak to themselves the way they would speak to someone they love. Think about that. How would your days look if you replaced criticism with compassion? If you stopped punishing yourself for not having it all figured out, and instead trusted that everything is unfolding exactly as it should? Letting go doesn't remove your power. It reconnects you to it. Because your real power is never found in control. It's found in presence, in how you respond to life, in how you treat yourself when things fall apart, in how you breathe through uncertainty instead of resisting it. And maybe that's your practice this week, to notice the moments when you want to force something, and instead of acting from fear, pause, breathe, and choose trust, even for just a few seconds. You'll be surprised at how those small choices begin to reshape your entire experience. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing. Willing to believe that the universe knows the way. Willing to soften your grip. Willing to let go and let something greater guide you. That willingness is where everything begins to shift. There's a moment in every journey when nothing seems to make sense. When what used to work no longer works. When the things you chased no longer fulfill you. It's in that space, where everything feels uncertain, that the real transformation begins. Louise Hay often described these moments not as breakdowns, but as breakthroughs in disguise. Life isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. It's asking you to let go of what you thought life was supposed to be, so you can finally receive what's meant for you. When you've lived most of your life in survival mode, peace can feel foreign. Stillness can feel unsafe. But that discomfort is not a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that you're healing, that your nervous system is slowly learning that it doesn't have to be on high alert all the time, that you're allowed to exhale. Louise believed deeply in the body's wisdom, that every symptom, every sensation is a message. When you're holding on too tightly, your body often speaks before your mind does. The tension in your shoulders, the heaviness in your chest, the constant fatigue. These are not random. They are invitations. They're asking you to stop, to listen, to soften. Letting go isn't just an emotional process. It's physical. It's spiritual. It's cellular. It lives in your breath, in your posture, in the way you speak to yourself when no one else is around. And most of all, it lives in your willingness to believe that life is not against you. It's working through you. Think of a river. When it flows freely, everything moves with grace. When it's blocked, the pressure builds, the water gets muddy, and the flow stops. That's what happens inside us when we hold on too tightly. We block the very current that's trying to carry us somewhere new. Letting go clears the path. It allows life to move again. It opens the way for something better to reach you. Sometimes we wait for life to give us permission. Permission to rest, permission to say no, permission to start over. But you don't need permission to choose peace. You don't need approval to soften. The only permission you ever needed was your own, and maybe now is the time to give it. Louise often reminded us that forgiveness is one of the highest forms of letting go. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving ourselves for not knowing better, for staying too long, for dimming our light to fit in. That forgiveness is not weakness, it's freedom. And it's available the moment you decide to stop carrying the weight of the past. You're allowed to release what's no longer serving you. You're allowed to live a life that feels good in your body and kind to your heart. You're allowed to stop pushing and start trusting. And when you do, you'll realize that the universe wasn't asking you to fight harder. It was waiting for you to surrender. Letting go is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Some days, it's easy. Other days, it feels impossible. But what matters most is that you keep choosing to trust, even when nothing around you gives you a reason to. Louise Hay often said that the point of power is always in the present moment. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can repeat, the same patterns. Or you can pause, breathe, and choose a new path. There's incredible power in the pause. In that space between reaction and response, between fear and faith. That pause is where transformation begins. It's where you stop running on autopilot and start living with intention. Most people don't realize they're repeating the same emotions every day, waking up with the same thoughts, speaking the same words, and expecting a different life to appear. But nothing changes until you do. Louise believed that your thoughts are affirmations. Whether positive or negative, every thought affirms something. The more you affirm fear, the more fear shapes your reality. The more you affirm peace, the more life begins to soften. You don't need to control every thought. You just need to become aware of them. Awareness is the first step toward healing. You can't change what you don't notice. Start by noticing how you speak to yourself when you're struggling. Are you kind or are you harsh? Do you offer yourself grace or do you punish yourself with blame? Every time you choose compassion over criticism, you rewire something deep inside you. You send a signal that says, I'm safe now. I'm allowed to heal. That's what letting go creates. Safety, space, possibility. You don't need to do this perfectly. You only need to stay willing. Willing to notice when you're holding on. Willing to release when it's time. Willing to ask for help when you feel lost. Letting go is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of deep inner strength. It means you trust that something greater than your fear is guiding you forward. You are not alone in this. So many women carry silent battles while appearing strong on the outside. But strength is not about pretending. It's about feeling deeply and choosing to keep going anyway. And every time you let go of a limiting belief, every time you stop apologizing for your needs, every time you say yes to peace instead of chaos, you shift something in the world around you. Maybe today is your invitation to slow down, to listen to your heart instead of your fear, to remember that the universe responds to your energy, not your effort. And the more you align with peace, the more life begins to reflect that peace back to you. Let go of how it was supposed to be. Accept what is, and trust what's becoming. That is where your true power lives. Letting go leads you back to yourself. It strips away the noise, the expectations, the roles you've been taught to play. What remains is your truth, your softness, your power. Louise Hay reminded us that we are never truly stuck. We are simply practicing old beliefs. And when we begin to practice new ones, everything shifts. Sometimes slowly, sometimes instantly, but always with purpose. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world. You were meant to live connected to yourself, to others, to the universe that breathes life into everything. That connection doesn't demand perfection. It only asks for presence, for you to come as you are, for you to be willing to try again, to forgive again, to believe again. Life will always have its chaos, but peace isn't found in a perfect life. It's found in a steady heart. In the quiet confidence that says, no matter what happens, I trust myself to walk through it. Louise's teachings were never about ignoring the pain. They were about moving through it with love, with compassion, with the belief that even your hardest moments are leading you somewhere meaningful. Every time you choose to soften instead of tense, you open a new path. Every time you choose to trust instead of control, you realign with the universe's natural rhythm. This is not weakness. This is mastery. The kind of mastery that doesn't scream. It whispers, it guides. It reminds you that letting go is not the end. It's the beginning. You don't need to have everything figured out. No one does. All you need is a willingness to be honest with yourself, to look at what you're still holding on to. Old stories, old fears, old expectations. And ask, is this still serving me? Sometimes The most powerful thing you can do is release what no longer fits, even if it once did. Letting go allows new energy to find you, new relationships, new opportunities, new levels of clarity and confidence. But you must create the space for them to arrive. You must be willing to release the grip of what was in order to receive what can be. As you move forward from this moment, know this: the universe is not waiting for you to be perfect. It's responding to your energy right now, your courage to release, your faith to begin again, your softness in a world that taught you to harden. That's your real strength, and it changes everything. If something you heard today touched you, opened something, or made you pause even for a second, feel free to share it in the comments. Your story might be the light someone else needed to see. And if this message brought you comfort or clarity, consider subscribing so you don't miss what comes next. You are not alone on this journey. And sometimes, one simple message is all it takes to begin again. Let go, let the universe flow, and watch what unfolds.